We're going on the record in the matter of the city of Riverview with Miriam Sharif, 231949. I need paperwork for the other one in custody, please. And counsel, your appearance, please.
Your Honor, for the record, John Wolf, P30758 on behalf of Ms. Sharif.
Thank you, Ms. Sharif. Your name, please, for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Miriam Sharif.
All right, thank you. Today's the date scheduled for sentencing in this matter on your client's plea to disturbing the peace, which is an amended charge from the disorderly conduct, possession of nitrous oxide, and the interfering with public safety officer was dismissed. And counsel, did you have an opportunity to review the report and recommendation with your client?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
All right. And are there any corrections that need to be made?
Your Honor, as far as any corrections, deletions, or additions, no. However, Your Honor, I do want to put on the record some other information that has just been brought to my attention. She has been directed from the jail to notify. Let us know what's been going on there. It's my understanding that.
Okay, just a moment. First, Ms. Sharif, I know that you're reading a book previously. I just want to make sure that you're not currently reading that book and that you're paying attention.
Oh, I am paying attention, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay, because you keep looking down and it looks as though you're reading a book.
No, my book is on the side. It was on the side. It's closed.
All right. All right. Yes, counsel.
Yes, I'm sorry, Your Honor. We have had an opportunity to review all of this information. I just want to bring to the court's attention.
Can you please move the microphone just because it's loud at the jail? So I want to make sure, no, I don't want you to move it out of the way. I want you to move it so you can speak closer. So you're closer so you can speak into it so your client can hear you because it's loud at the jail.
Got it. Thank you. Your Honor, it's my understanding that on more than one occasion, since she's been in the Wayne County Jail, she's been assaulted and has made appropriate reports to that effect.
Okay.
Therefore, it's our position clearly that the jail at this point in time is not a safe environment for her. As far as the recommendation, Your Honor.
Well, it doesn't appear that out of custody is a safe environment for your client, quite frankly, counsel.
I understand that as well, Your Honor. We can only deal with what we have. That's the court is well aware. She does have a very serious abuse problem, particularly with nitric oxide. She has been going to counseling.
Counsel, I need you to speak directly into the microphone because I don't know that she can hear you. So please adjust the microphone up and then speak directly into it.
She has had a serious drug problem. She's addressing that drug problem. She has been attending prior to her previous incarceration rehab in Tuscola County. She also has been going to counseling. Excuse me, Your Honor. Regarding her drug issues. She is also she was released from Tuscola County for a similar charge, and Your Honor did have a jail review just prior to this incident. She also has submitted.
Perfect.
Thank you, Your Honor. She also has submitted, Your Honor, a plea by mail up in Tuscola County, and she is presently on probation in Marquette County. She is a licensed nurse. Unfortunately, because she was in Tuscola County back at the end of July of this year, she has not been given any employment as a traveling nurse. She does have a lengthy criminal record. We've addressed that. She is undergoing or attempting to retain or take care of her children. The recommendation is for incarceration. I believe that rather than incarceration, she needs to get into rehab. She needs to continue to try to get her life straightened out. And rather, she's done 23 days in jail at this point in time on this case. not counting the 8 weeks incarceration in Tuscola County, plus another 21 days that she went through in rehab up there. She's asking this court for a release on a tether to, I'm sorry, there's some question about Naomi's Nest. However, she's hoping that rather than that, that she would be able to go, I'm sorry, Ms. Sharif, you said instead of Naomi's Nest, you wanted to go to where?
Sacred Heart or Lighthouse.
Sacred Heart, because she's been there before. She was successful for a period of time coming out of that location. So rather than incarceration, which I don't believe is going to solve her problem, just straight incarceration, we're asking for a release on a tether to either share house, or if that's unavailable, then of course it would have to be to Naomi's Nest.
So here's the concern, counsel. Your client has been dealing with substance use issues since 2014 for sure, if not previously. And even more so, your client has 2 children that she has now gone from having 50-50 custody and parenting time with to 8 hours a week. 8 hours a week. She's on probation in Marquette County. She's on probation in Tuscola County. And now she has this matter in Wayne County. She is spreading her wings all over the state.
I understand, John.
And she's using this chemical, in my opinion, because that's harder to detect than drugs in her system. Ma'am, have you utilized your service, the service that you have through your nursing agency? There's like employee support or something along those lines, where your employer can provide substance use counseling and support for you. Have you engaged in that?
Well, because I'm a travel nurse, the companies, I do only contracts, like 13-week contracts. So they don't offer that. But like if I was a staff nurse, they would offer that. And I was planning to become a staff nurse because that was part of why the judge took custody from my kids, was because I was travel nursing during COVID to help the US with the COVID pandemic. And she did not like that I was traveling. So that was part of why the custody was taken away. She did not agree with me leaving and not following her order for custody. That was the reason why she took custody. So,
so you're telling, so ma'am, you're telling this court that the judge modified parenting time in custody because you were traveling for work.
Correct. Because I'm supposed to be within 100 miles of the father of my children. And we made an agreement through via email, and it wasn't a court order. So she was upset about that because we didn't follow her order. So that was part of why she took did that custody change. That was part of.
Is that because you had the kids with you wherever you were traveling, or they stayed with their dad?
So with their dad, we had an agreement that 30 days they stay with him and 30 days they stay with me, because, you know, during COVID, the schools shut down or whatnot. So they would come with me like to Texas or Maryland for 30 days, and they would do virtual schooling. And then I would fly them back to Detroit to their dad for 30 days. And she was not agreeable to that. She was very upset about that we did that on our own and not followed her order. So that was part of why she took the kids.
The two of you agreed to that?
Yeah, we had an email exchange.
Yes?
Yes, we have an email exchange, and she read it, and she was aware about it. And pretty much she was very upset about it because she said that we didn't follow her order, that, you know, to stay within 100 miles of each other and whatnot, that we made our own order between each other and not came to
And
her
so,
with it.
Ma'am, what, and so who's your judge for that matter?
Tastani.
Okay, and when did that all get modified?
That was March of last year.
22?
Yes.
Which conveniently enough, you had.
No, I'm sorry,
April
Your
20
Honor. Your Honor, I'm sorry. It was after my house fire because I lost my house last year. So it was, I believe, in the fall of last year. I'm sorry, my memory is really bad. I had really bad smoke inhalation. I almost died last year in my house fire.
Okay, well, chemical agents also do that as well, ma'am, to your brain.
Yes.
So, so conveniently enough, that was all, that occurred after your matter in Marquette and Tuscola County. So I'm going to presume, based on my experience as a family law practitioner prior to taking the bench, that the reason why custody and parenting time was modified was not solely because you traveled for work and you and their father came to an agreement outside of court regarding a modification.
No, that wasn't the sole purpose. It was part of it. It was a big part. She was really upset about it.
Ma'am, you're changing your story. That is not what you indicated. You said that was the reason why custody was changed. So it's more believable that it was modified to 8 hours a week because of your behavior with chemical agents.
She said that was because of abandonment of the children. That was the reason.
Okay.
And I never abandoned my children.
Is your 8 hours a week in parenting time supervised or unsupervised?
Unsupervised. And my ex-husband has a very long domestic violence history. I was married at 16 and he abused me and stabbed me, and I pled the fifth so he doesn't go to jail for 30 years. So I see a counselor for domestic violence and substance abuse weekly at Access in Dearborn. And I left him after I became a nurse.
And how long have you been a nurse, ma'am?
Since 2016. And because I divorced him and took off my scarf, my family cut me off.
Okay. Well, ma'am, since 2016, well, even before that, let's see, you had a possession of marijuana or synthetic equivalents, operating while impaired, improper transportation of medical marijuana in a vehicle, operating while impaired, disorderly person or jostling at Wayne County Airport, chemical agents prohibited use, reckless driving and chemical agents prohibited use. And your reckless driving apparently was while you were under the influence of the chemical agent up there in Tuscola County.
Well,
because you were originally charged, excuse me, you were originally charged with operating while intoxicated, third offense. And that was reduced to a reckless driving.
Because, Your Honor, I actually called them for help. Someone was going to ram into my car in Tuscola County, and they thought I was high. This is how I look, you know, it's my ethnicity under my eyes. And they took me to the hospital. They drew my blood, and there was nothing in my system. And I actually called the U.S. Marshals. I'm currently working on speaking to them about the incident and reporting it. And they actually sent me some stuff, an email, for me to fill out and to send to them. I just haven't had the chance because I've been incarcerated. But I called the U.S. Marshals and the FBI, and I'm going to call CARE as well, because I called the officers for help because someone was going to ram into my car. And because I feel like I am Middle Eastern and I drive a BMW, I feel like I was racially profiled. And there was nothing in my system. They drew my blood. There was zero of everything at McLaren, and I can give you the proof of that. and I was charged with it for no apparent reason, and I'm going to fight that. I'm going to call CARE. I'm going to do whatever I can to get that dismissed and to basically address the situation, because I feel like that was not fair what they did to me. And I have PTSD from, you know, that situation. Basically, if I need help to call the police, I am scared to do that. So now, even though that I feel like they were supposed to serve and protect, I feel like that was not the case in Tuscola County. So that's,
Okay, and so this is, ma'am, you're speaking of the matter that you already pled no contest to, and
that was
already
based off
had,
of
and they were
what
sentenced, please let me finish, please let me finish.
I'm sorry.
And that you were sentenced to probation, which ended up being revoked, and you served 93 days jail. That's the case you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, and so there must have been chemical agents somewhere in your vehicle, which is why you pled no contest to that as well.
My lawyer suggested to plead that, and I followed my lawyer because he's been my criminal history lawyer for quite a while. And I'm very regrettable that I listened to him. So like I said, the U.S. Marshals have been contacted, and I just need to fill the paperwork out, and I'm going to take further action to address that situation, because it was very scary and very unsafe as a woman by herself.
Okay, ma'am, here's what I'm going to ask you as well. Have you had any communication with the State Board of Licensing regarding your nursing license?
Yes, ma'am.
And so what is the status of your nursing license?
I have not heard back from them, and I heard because they're so busy and backed up because of COVID, that's probably why. And honestly, like, my nursing license expired 8/23 of this year. So I have to pay to renew it, and I'll probably get something in the email or mail about that. But I did email them, and I did call, and I let them know what's going on.
All right, because you're required to report any criminal conviction, correct?
Yes, ma'am, and I have.
And so since 2016, you've had 5 criminal convictions, and up until August, when you did not renew your license, you're still a validly licensed nurse?
Yes, my brother was murdered in 2015, and that's why I became what I became at the time. And pretty much I talked to the board. I had to write a letter. I had to appeal to get my nursing license, and they heard my story, and they awarded me my nursing license. I'm a trauma certified nurse as well.
Hold on, man. You're telling me that your brother was murdered, and then you were able to have a conversation with the board, and they gave you your nursing license despite your substance use history and your criminal convictions?
Yes, I became a nurse in 2016, and I had to write a letter to the board and appeal to it, because they were like, you have a history or whatnot. So I typed the letter explaining everything about my life, pretty much giving them a background and what happened, and they gave me my nursing license.
Okay, so they initially declined to give you a nursing license because of your criminal history, and then you had to appeal, and then they still granted you your license, and perhaps the original denial was what they should have stuck with, given your criminal history and your substance use.
Well, I've never assaulted or hurt anybody. It was a substance abuse problem, and I'm not saying it's okay, but if, you know, like they taught us in rehab, substance abuse is a disease just like diabetes. You just have to treat it.
Ma'am, I'm aware of that, but I think it's by the grace of God you haven't killed or assaulted anybody because of your convictions that you have on your record. The court is going to indicate that, let's see, probation was revoked in Tuscola County. She's currently on probation for Marquette. Both of those convictions are for the same charge that she's charged with here and pled guilty to as well. And so now this is the third charge and conviction of the same offense within 10 months. The court's going to indicate 90 days jail. Credit for 24 days. That's how many days she's been in custody since August 6th.
All right, more.
And that's on count A. As count B,
Your Honor, I believe there was only one count that she pled to.
yes, count B is civil infraction. So, all right, and at this point, the court's going to suspend fines and costs, as I don't know when she'll be back to work.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am. Once you are released, I hope you are firm on getting treatment and that you get that treatment, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Have a good day.
Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Do you, Deputy, do you have Mr. Courtney?
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Courtney's en route to me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is that yours too, Mr. Copal?
I'm sorry,
Do you have Mr. Courtney, Kevin Courtney?